At the start of a league campaign like this, what's your own level of expectation and what are you trying to get out of the league?
Yeah, look, I suppose when the league and the championship are so close this year, it's really, really like kind of you go from one game to the next game and you're nearly kind of getting it, using it as prep for championship, which is really, really good. Like the kind of shorter season this year is going to make all the league really, really competitive. So you'd be hoping to put in a good performance and I suppose build momentum as you're going.
Again, just talking about the Paddy Andrews talking on the podcast recently was saying how they actually really enjoyed the league because it was week after week after week, and there's very few times of the year where you get that. And maybe this year with the shortened season you will actually get that from a championship perspective as well. But playing games is the reason you train, and so I suspect you actually really enjoy the league.
Yeah, like you definitely do. I suppose any player as well is not going to be hoping that there's a big space between matches because that's usually when the running comes and the harder training comes in. But no, you love playing games, you love the competitive element, like, you know, and making that, learning from every game, doing your video analysis then and trying to improve every game. And the fact that they come so quickly, one after another, it's good marking for you, your own performance and the team's performance and how you're progressing to build up for our championship.
I realise that camogie and all the Gaelic sports are team sports, obviously with the exception of handball, but you know what I mean. And sometimes when you're singled out, it can be a bit strange. But actually, at the other side of that, sometimes being singled out helps to inspire your teammates as well. What's your own kind of experience been like of becoming an all-star, and has it made any difference to your life?
Yeah, look, I suppose. When I got my all-star last year, there was no one more proud than my father at the time. Like, you know, it was like he's like his dreams came true, and I suppose that came with its own pressure as well. Like, you know, there's an expectation there that when you get your all-star, like that you have to live up to that certain standards. But I was so thrilled to win it. You probably saw a few videos. I was going around close to the station. The dog was thrown up in the air, and there were champagne popped, and there was wicked celebrations in my house. Anyway. We're celebrating for probably about a week or two after, I'd say, with the whole thing. But I was just so happy for my friends and my family. And I suppose, like, they don't, although it's an individual accolade, my friends, my family, and the other girls on the team, like, it's a team sport. You wouldn't be next nor near anything without the support of your family when you're gone off for long days, or your friends and the girls are around you that are playing there, like, you know. The backs will give me wicked grief now because they'd say I'd just be there to take the scores when I can, but no, I wouldn't be anywhere next year without it. But it does come with its own pressure of living up to that expectation and trying to better performance for the following year.
That's true, isn't it? Because you don't want to go away from the things that made you an all-star in the first place, and there is that kind of trap that a lot of people fall into, I suspect, where it's like, oh geez, I have to be absolutely 10 out of 10 in every game, whereas the truth is you need to be relaxed and do your own natural game while maybe using it as inspiration for training as opposed to the actual matches itself. How do you get that balance right?
Yeah, look, it's really, really hard to get the balance right. I suppose that you're trying to deal with you're trying to be, I suppose, being captain as well. Like, you're trying to deal with the whole trying to bring the team on and trying to lead from the front and lead by example. But it was that little bit of additional pressure when there was an expectation there. So I suppose what I did is I kind of, when I went into overdrive training, once I'm prepared for the game, prepared going into my league match, prepared going into my championship matches, that I feel a lot more at ease and a lot less pressure. It is very hard, like, to block out the external influences of putting the pressure on yourself, but you're kind of your own worst enemy when you're putting that undue pressure on yourself. So I just try to prepare as best I can, whether it's going to the pitch that morning or going a couple of extra shooting sessions in, and just, I suppose, making sure that I have no stone left unturned, so that when I go out to the pitch that there's nothing more I could have done for the game, whether the game goes right or wrong for me, that there's nothing more I could have done. I've done my preparation as best I can. You talked about the celebrations of your friends and family, and I suppose your family in particular would have been very familiar with your backstory, which I think the rest of the country is kind of only beginning to become familiar with. There was definitely a stage of your life when you were a teenager where it looked like you were going to have to give up sport. Can you just tell us a bit about what happened? Yeah, when I was 16, I was playing like hockey, soccer, football, camogie, any sport that was going, I was playing, and I suppose I kind of started running with a bit of a limp. And my manager at the time for club decided to get me to go for keyhole surgery in Waterford. And when I came out, they wanted to kind of break my knees and realign them. Said I had malalignment in my knees and that I shouldn't be playing sports at all. Which was devastating for me. I was going to be a PE teacher. I was sports for my whole life. It's like your whole identity. I kind of persevered on. My father was quite upset. My mum was quite upset, and more so out of stubbornness now, I'd say, than anything. I pushed forward, try my best to put it to the back of my mind. A lot of physio work, a lot of chiropractors, chiroprators, you name it, I went to. Eventually then I wasn't reaching the performances that were expected of me, I suppose. When my dad and my brother played for Waterford in both codes, it was a lot of pressure on myself, but I wasn't reaching performances. And then in a league match against Meath, I went up for a ball and my kneecap came out of place, and I didn't run for 15 months after that, and I was diagnosed with arthritis in my knee then. So it was a big adjustment for me for my life. I'm just about it. I was really, really down over it. Only for my friends and my family, and knowing what I did, or going down to Cork and going under Portaqueeve and Portaring and trying to run underneath it in the tunnel down there, and just the sweat coming out through it and tears coming out here, they're the things I won't forget. Nowadays I can manage it a bit better, I suppose, doing a lot of gym work and doing all the work I can, getting my operations on it and taking a break when I need to. But I often get grief from the girls or the family at home saying I played the knee card often if things are going against me. My knee is sore. But to be only black ankles, no, I take it in good faith now. I can just about get on with it now. But it is a full-time job managing it and keeping up my gym program, keeping up my thing. Thank God, the manager this year, Derek Lyons, is very, very good to me, and any of the strenuous pitch sessions or things that are too strenuous on my knee, I take a bit of a break. I've only gone back to pitch sessions this week. It's just doing knee work and knee rehabilitation the last couple of months when we finish championship, just to get right for this season now. I think doing that, having that bit of extras, gives me a bit more longevity, and it prepares me for the league and the right time.
And Niamh, do you find that you're any bit behind your teammates at all when you're not partaking in some of those sessions? Because I assume the answer to that question is no, and it probably is a bit of a lesson to maybe how hard people need to be pushed in pre-season.
Yeah, look, I think that there's kind of for and against it. When you're doing your own program, it requires a lot of self-discipline, and I suppose only for I know quite a bit about myself, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing, and thank God Kenny Murphy taught me a lot about knees and knee programs. He's a physio down in Waterford, that I know what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing to be at the right time. It is quite tough, I won't lie, mentally, preparing yourself to go back, thinking that you might have that edge on the girl beside you. But then again, I just think back at the times that the work that I've done over the winter time, I kind of went back, and I suppose you have to go back with the mentality. I think your mind can be your biggest enemy. If I was coming back with the thing, thinking I don't have enough done, do I have enough done? Will I be right? Will I not be right? I just had to trust in the process and trust that come championship, come league time, that I'll be right, and I'll be right at the right time, rather than come April or May blowing up and maybe the hard ground going into the soft ground, going into the hard ground, then would kind of wreak havoc with me. But I trust the people around me and trust that they know what's best for me. I wouldn't be an expert in the S&C or whatever the case is, and that the people around me would know it and that they'll have me right at the right time.
Well, you've obviously surrounded yourself with very good people. It led to an All-Star last year. Niamh, we wish you the very best of luck with this season and continued success. Thanks a million for joining us this morning.
Thanks a million, thank you.
That's Niamh Rockett there, an All-Star from Waterford, to help launch the restart of the Camogie season, which gets underway. They have Westmeath on Saturday. The Littlewoods Ireland Camogie Leagues begin this Saturday. You can get tickets at camogie.ie.